all the top bosses here, or let's say the masters here, are probably doing very depraved acts as mentioned in the Epstein files, right? So how does one justify contributing into a system that ultimately feeds such vulgarity?
What kind of innocence do you carry? What do you think that fellow has earned his billions for? But he is supposed to be a good fellow. After all, he is a celebrity. I worshipped 5 celebrities, only 2 of them are corrupt. The remaining 3 are all right. No, the remaining 3 are yet not exposed. What we call as the Homo sapiens are creatures of the jungle. Yes, the intellect is there, but the intellect is governed by a very animalistic point. And if you don't understand this, you will be shocked again and again and again. He didn't become a politician to be noble. He became a politician to fulfill his own wild desires. And if somebody is earning so much, what do you think he is earning it for? Charity? Because he wants to make the world a better place. Why would he not say, I want sex? And if there is some kind of a pimp available who can get me sex from here, there, international girls, I'll engage that pimp.
Pleasure to meet you, sir. So my question is, as an engineering grad in IIT, you'll probably end up, let's say, in a tech firm, a VC-funded entrepreneurship, or civil services. But nowadays, with all the recent news we are getting, all the top bosses here, or let's say the masters here, are probably doing very depraved acts as mentioned in the Epstein files, right? You take VCs like Peter Thiel or like Bill Gates, everyone like that. So how does one justify contributing one's intelligence and labor into a system that ultimately feeds such vulgarity? How do we handle the feeling of having blood in our hands? And any scenario other than outright rebellion feels like being compliant to the extreme vulgarity that is taking place, right? So as somebody who's probably going to end up in the workforce in a couple of years, how do I deal with this mental thought, right? Because the system in itself is extremely depraved.
You get the question? What he's saying is, recent years, in fact, recent decades, we have had a series of scandals exposed. The latest one pertaining to these Epstein files. He's saying, now I study here, same campus, this campus. He studies here and then he would be picked up by a tech firm or a consulting firm, some kind of management, something, or he would proceed for his MBA or MS, UPSC too, he mentioned. He think, but doesn't matter where I go. Now the skeletons are all tumbling out of the cupboard, and it seems my bosses would all be very depraved of character. That's the word he used. Depravity. So how do I convince myself to work for such people? What's the point in being here in this institution of higher education and then proceeding to even better institutions if at the end of it all I have to work for some pervert, some monster? That's the question. But why did it have to take a scandal for you to know this? Why does it demand a scandal? Is it not obvious? What's the whole thing about? Your question should be, how did the persona and the publicity and the propaganda succeed in convincing you that the ones who hog the limelight, the celebrities, the entrepreneurs, the VCs, the politicians, the bureaucrats, that they are all at least half decent and semi-noble people? How did you allow yourself to be convinced of that? That must be the question. Today you are saying, I stand shocked, sir. I stand shocked. The gods have feet of clay. The ones that I used to worship, revere, idolize, all my role models, seem to be collapsing. Why? Because a certain scandal has broken out. Same thing happens every couple of years, right? You remember a certain leaks? Remember? What happened to the fellow? What happened? Ostracized, expunged, and then
We know anywhere in the system, all the work that we do, if you work for like ourselves, the GDP, it goes to the political leaders. If you work for like a fund, like a firm, is for the shareholders. And anything that we do gives values to the ones in the
you
top.
see, it is the disruption, the rupture that prompts this question. What you're saying is, I work for the government, and probably it stuffs the pockets of a politician or a senior bureaucrat. I work for a firm, and I do not know what the principal stakeholder is going to do with the profits I hand him over, right? So this comes as a disruption. I don't know who my bosses would be. I don't know who would be ultimately benefiting from my work, and what kind of, character he holds, and what kind of use he puts that money to, right? So this disruption is what is bothering you. My question is not the disruption, but the belief prior to the disruption. How did you allow yourself to be carried away by the idea that the ones holding power in this big wide world are all noble and decent people? How did you get this idea in the first place? Because in absence of that idea, there would have been no disruption of this kind. First of all, there is a belief, and now the belief stands challenged. That's what is prompting this question. Do you see this? So I want to go to the roots of the question. From where does the belief come in the first place? How did you allow a certain propaganda to convince you? And why is that important to see? Because if you don't see that even now, the propaganda rolls on. And you will not always have scandals exposed to shock you into reality. Most of their misdeeds remain hidden, remain buried. You will not always get to know. Therefore, you must not wait for events. You must be clear at the level of principles. Please understand. We know in nuclear physics what the simple concept of critical mass is like, right? We know what critical mass is. Simple thing, very simple. Now, a ball of thorium, uranium, plutonium, something. We can play with it, and we can toss it around, and we can throw it at someone, and nothing's really going to happen. Except maybe some radioactive exposure, which might not be too dangerous. But you do not know the principle of critical mass, right? You do not know. So you take the ball, you load it with more of the same metal, and you keep doing that, and then one day in 50 years there is a massive explosion. What would you choose to be educated by? The event or the principle? Would you wait for 50 years for a massive explosion to happen, which is a rare event, as we know? Would you wait for that explosion to happen so that you can get educated in something about the nucleus? Or would you rather learn the principle itself so you know very well in advance where the danger lies? What would you rather be educated in? The event or the principle? The principle. Now it's the event that's bothering you. I want you to go to the principle, and that will secure you in a much better and deeper way. One thing is, somebody tells you, oh, do not play with uranium balls, something bad can happen, right? One thing is, you know the principle, you know exactly how to calculate the critical mass, the radius of the ball, and such things. What would you rather want? You would want to be illuminated about the principle, right? And the principle is, now we come to that, the principle is what we call as the Homo sapiens are creatures of the jungle. Yes, the intellect is there, but the intellect is governed by a very animalistic point. Therefore, the only principle that truly runs the world, this world created by all of us, is the principle of greed and power. That's the principle that runs this world. Whenever the primitive animalistic ego will operate, it will operate in a violent way. It will operate in an exploitative way. Real nobility or decency is something the ego is allergic to. Whenever you look at a fellow, the default assumption must be, I am looking at an animal. Okay, fine. A big VC, doesn't matter. An animal clad in formals, riding a luxury car, working a laptop, but nevertheless still an animal. A gorilla in necktie. Now you won't be surprised. But you are carried away by propaganda. You start thinking that all these celebrities you idolize so much are actually good people. You are violating the principle. You don't understand the principle. The principle is the only thing that separates. Listen first. The principle is the only thing that separates us from animals is the intellect, not the center the intellect is operated from. We share that center with primates, with mammals, with insects, with reptiles. Same thing, much the same thing. How does the flesh of a lion taste? Somebody tell me. How does the flesh of lion taste? Nobody tasted it? Why? But you have tasted buffaloes, you have tasted goats, sheep, chicken. Why? Because they are weak, and that's the principle that runs this world. Why don't you understand? And if you don't understand this, you will be shocked again and again and again. We are brutal people, made worse by the intellect, the IQ. And IQ gives us the capacity to organize. Do you know what we have done? Close to 1/3 of the land mass of animals on this planet today is that of Homo sapiens. Almost the entire remaining 2/3 is of the animals that Homo sapiens have bred for their consumption. Mostly cows, buffaloes, other cattle, etc. Some 3-4% is that of truly wild animals. That's who we are. If something is of use to us, we proliferate it, multiply it, produce it, factory produce it. If something is not of use to us, we simply kill it, obliterate it. That's who we are. What do you think? You're going to serve your corporate master and they are going to be benevolent to you? Behind that formal corporate smile is a wild face with very sharp teeth. He pays you only as long as you earn him 10x in return. And if somebody is earning so much, what do you think he is earning it for? Charity? Because he wants to make the world a better place? No, for his own consumption. That's the principle of the jungle. Nobody does anything for anybody. There are no free lunches. If the fellow has earned so much, why would he not say, I want sex? And if there is some kind of a pimp available who can get me sex from here, there, international girls, I'll engage that pimp. What kind of innocence do you carry? Should I call it innocence or simply stupidity? What? What do you think that fellow has earned his billions for? Why? So that you can lead a better life? No. So that he can consume away the earth. That's the only principle. There is no other principle. But you are swept away by nice sounding words and smiling faces. And you feel this person is actually making the earth a better place. No fellow exists to make the earth a better place. They all exist to eat out the earth, as we have already done. You know where the doomsday clock stands as of this moment. Just 85 seconds from the final catastrophe. But such naivete, such cute stupidity. But he is supposed to be a good fellow. After all, he is a celebrity. But he is supposed to be noble. After all, he is a politician. He didn't become a politician to be noble. He became a politician to fulfill his own wild desires. That's the principle of the jungle. And the only exceptions are the sages and the saints. And they are extremely rare. They are the only exceptions. A Buddha is an exception. But on this stage, we aren't talking of a Buddha right now, are we? Apart from a Buddha, do not accept selflessness from anybody. And if somebody has power, they will put it to the meanest, lowest kind of use. But away from the public eye, so you won't see. So you won't see and you will remain deluded and you will keep thinking, no. I worshipped 5 celebrities, only 2 of them are corrupt. The remaining 3 are all right. No, the remaining 3 are yet not exposed. That's the principle. Don't wait for events, stick to principles. When events come, they come as a disruption, they shock. And shocks are not pleasant experiences, right? Are they?